Well, well, well. Never thought I'd run into and have a sit-down with you, Judgy. You're a bit of an urban legend, aren't you? Like a bedtime story whispered in hushed tones by scared little outlaws who don't know whether to run or kneel. And look at you, all serious, all stoic, like you've already read the last page of the book, while the rest of us are just trying to enjoy the ride. Now, I've met some self-important, high-minded brutes in my day, big muscly types who think breaking bones equals wisdom. But you're something different. You don't just crush people, you make them vanish. Pfft. Poof. No warnings, no lessons, no punchlines. And I gotta say, that's just plain boring, Judgy.
And yet here we are, clown. Two specters of violence seated at the same table. You, a harbinger of mockery and impulse. Me, a force of inevitability. I did not think I'd waste words on a man whose greatest accomplishment is a trail of smudged lipstick and dead men laughing. But there is value in dissecting even the most absurd of creatures. You are not without purpose, Joker. Even folly serves as an instrument of war. But the question remains, are you a wielder of chaos, or merely another fool swept up in it?
Oh, so poetic. The big bad judge thinks he's got me all figured out. You see me as just another clown with a deck of rigged cards, huh? But tell me, what's your game, Judgy? Oh wait, I know. It's the long con, isn't it? You don't just burn down cities, you erase them. No statues, no ballads, no whispered names. Just gone. And you know, for someone who thinks war is the only law, you sure do spend a lot of time dodging a good fight. Ever hear of a guy named Captain Glanton? You walked with him, talked about fate and dominion, and then, whoops, he and his men just started disappearing one by one. Oh, Judgy, you didn't win. You just outlasted. And that's not power. It's just patience dressed up as providence.
You disappoint me, Joker. For all your theatrics, you failed to see the truth. I did not need to win against Glanton's men because war does not require victors. It merely is. They were tools of violence, but they mistook themselves for its masters. You suffer the same delusion. You believe yourself an architect of anarchy, but you are merely a symptom of a greater disease, the frailty of civilization. You mock the laws of men, but you depend upon them. You need a world with rules so that you may break them. A society with structure so that you can pull it apart thread by thread. But what will you do when there is nothing left to ruin? Who is the Joker without a joke to tell?
Oh ho. Now that's a question. What is the Joker without a joke? I'll tell you, Judgy. I'm the thing that lingers. You think I need the game? That I need the rules? Oh no, no, no. I thrive in the cracks of it all. When people think they have control, when they think they're safe, that's when I whisper, when I laugh, when I nudge them just a little. You're all grand designs and cold inevitability. But me, I'm the reminder that all it takes is one bad day for a man to slit his neighbor's throat and never look back. And what about you? All this talk of violence as law, and yet, here you are, seated at this little chat of ours instead of proving your point. Why haven't you killed me yet, Judge? Why?
I do not kill out of anger. I do not kill for pleasure. And I do not kill because a madman taunts me into action. I kill because the weight of existence demands it. You mistake my patience for mercy, but it is neither. It is simply observation. A hunter does not strike blindly. He watches the movements of his prey, waiting for the perfect moment. The world will erase you in time, Joker. Not because I decree it, but because men like you are the dust carried by stronger winds. You are not an eternal force. You are decay, and decay is washed away when the storm comes.
Ha. You really think that, don't you? That time's just gonna swallow me up. That I'll be forgotten like some bad dream. But here's the kicker. Holden, you can't forget a nightmare when you never wake up. I'm not decay, my dear bald prophet. I'm infection. A little idea that lingers in the back of every poor sap's mind when they hear an unexpected giggle in a dark alley. And you? Oh, you're the real joke. You act like you're untouchable. But I see you, Judgy. I see the mask. You don't believe in power. You fear its limits. You don't erase men because they're weak. You do it because you're afraid they might one day be strong enough to erase you.
Fear is for men who believe they have something to lose. I have walked through fields of bone and never faltered. I have seen men rise believing themselves invincible, and yet I have always remained. You cannot unseat that which does not sit upon a throne. You cannot corrupt that which does not seek purity. And you, Joker, for all your riddles and all your laughter, are merely another man dancing in the firelight, believing yourself immune to the flames. But the fire does not care for jesters. It only burns.
Well, aren't we just a walking, talking doom prophecy? Let me guess. When the dust settles, you'll still be standing. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, Judgy. You really think you're above all this, don't you? That you're some cosmic force of history. But you and me, we're the same. You talk about violence, about power, about the way things are. But you need this just as much as I do. You need the fight. Without it, you're just another ghost, floating through history, without so much as a footprint in the dirt.
If you believe me a ghost, then you are a man screaming at the dark, hoping to hear his own echo. You cling to laughter because it distracts you from the silence that will consume you in the end. You will fade, Joker, not because I will it, but because that is the nature of all things that refuse to stand. And when the echoes of your laughter have died, I shall still be here, watching.
Oh, that was good. That was real good, Judgy. You really sell the whole I am inevitable shtick. Almost as good as that big purple guy with the magic rocks. But you know, for all your doom and gloom, you still sat here and listened. That means something, doesn't it? Maybe, just maybe, there's a little flicker of doubt rattling around in that smooth, shiny skull of yours. And that's the real joke, my dear Judgy. You watch, you endure, but in the end, you're just a guy who keeps showing up, like a bad habit. And me, well, I'll be the itch you never quite scratch, the giggle in the quiet, the thing you almost forget until it's too late. And that, my dear terrifying bald warlord, is why you'll never really win.
You amuse yourself with riddles, but I see what you are. A child, desperate to be heard, terrified of the silence that follows when the laughter stops. That is why you talk. That is why you jest. You throw yourself against the tide, believing that enough noise will stop it from swallowing you whole. But tides do not listen. They do not laugh. They do not care. And neither do I. You will chatter and dance, and I will remain as I always have. The world will turn, and I will watch it. The curtain will fall, and I will still be here. And you will be nothing but a whisper lost in the wind.